From the studios in beautiful Oceanport, New Jersey, welcome to the biggest and greatest podcast ever. I'm your host, Ray Kay. Hey guys, we got an exciting show today. Rob Schremp. Rob was on April 29th, episode 16. I want everyone to view that and listen to that because that tells everything. Rob retired about a year ago. He talks about, his anxiety struggles throughout his whole hockey career. Rob was one of the top 3 players in the nation, as a youth. He played with the Islanders in NHL. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to do this as a catching up episode and rehash, a little bit about, that. You could hear it all, though, when you go back to it. And we'll talk about what Rob's doing now. Rob, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ray. I appreciate it. Hey. Thanks for the follow-up.
All right. Thanks for coming on again. Rob, just give us the, that 2 or 3 minute, I call it the Reader's Digest version, of your career leading up to when you left. And then we'll talk about, why you left and what you're doing now. I want to talk about the We're All a Little Crazy movement with Eric Houston. It's really picking up steam now. And then we'll talk about maybe your CBD and how that's helping you. So, just give us that 2 minute rehash of your career if you can.
Yeah. So, for me, of course, my career, obviously, dealing with some anxiety issues and some deeper things from, maybe post-concussions. I'm not sure what to, really nail it down to, but, I was fighting pretty hard at the end. And it came to the point where I just felt like it was time to really focus on myself. I had a daughter coming in the world, so it was time to really look after that, look after my family, look after myself. I didn't feel like it was getting supported that much in the hockey world, and I didn't feel comfortable enough to stay in it to grind it out per se for a few more years. So I thought it was a good time to walk away and start focusing on myself, and also trying to help, in some aspect, try to find ways to help other people, talk about my story, talk about what I went through, talk about what I'm doing to combat it. And that gave me a little bit more joy and almost gratitude as a mission, instead of strapping the pads back on, bearing the issues that I was dealing with and just going forward with, continuing the hockey career. So that's where I left it. And, working with a couple of cool organizations, We Are All a Little Crazy, the Same Here movement, gave me I have a lot of passion for it and a lot of, as I mentioned, gratitude towards trying to help that break down the stigma and focus on helping people that are in need and maybe people that are in silence, like I was for a while.
And what is that move? What does that movement do? I'll let you say it, Rob. What is the movement for people just that are joining us now?
The movement is really to strip down the stigma and let everybody kind of feel comfortable in their own skin, and also help people realize, even if you don't struggle with these kind of things like depression, anxiety, or whatever ailment you might have, but it makes you realize that nobody's immune and it can happen to anybody. So there's no shame in it, and there's no, you shouldn't feel ashamed about it. It's something you're more comfortable being open about. There's support out there, and there's people that understand, and it just kind of gives you also some education on, when people that are going through that stuff. Since I started talking about it, I've had plenty of people that have given me pointers, given me help, try to help me get on a good track, and that's been very helpful. So that's and the stigma part about it, not being able to say something in fear of losing your job or losing friends.
Well, that's
Robin Lerner is really a great example of that. And I think to see what he did in the National Hockey League and how open and vocal he was about it, and how he still is open and vocal about it, I think he's a huge champion, and he's got a lot of character, and I think he has a lot of courage. So that's a huge thing. And it just shows you, like I said, I think he was a Vezina candidate. It shows you that not everything is what it looks like on the surface. Some people have struggles, and if that's the case, you should be okay, and you should be safe to go ahead and get the help or reach out if you need to.
Now, Robin Lerner, he, just for, a lot of my viewers are sports fans, and from them that don't follow hockey, for those that don't follow hockey, Robert Lerner is one of the top, am I right with this, Rob? Like one of the top 3 goalies in the league? I mean, he's that high, right? I mean, he
had an unbelievable season last year, and, the way the Islanders organization handled him and helped him out was something to, I think that's a fine blueprint for the rest of not just hockey, but business and other other people that have workers working for them, and not stunting them or not suppressing them, but helping them grow and be able to be the maximum of their potential.
Now, Robin was, I mean, it took a lot of courage for him to come out, because I think he came off a great year. And I was talking to Eric Houston, the founder of the movement, and it's really growing. You know, Rob's one of the, I guess, a celebrity advocate. There's a whole bunch of, you know, people joining the thing, Same Day Heroes, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's growing. I look at it every day on the thing. We're all a little bit crazy.org. And Robin, from what I understand, is this right? There is a risk coming out, and it takes so much courage for the not only coming out, but the risk of, I'm understanding he just got a 1-year deal, you know, for his hockey team. They're almost afraid to take him on for more than a year. Is that true, Rob? I mean, it's to come out. I mean, there is some risk to it that way, that these owners aren't gonna give you long-term deals. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, there is for sure. And that's the part of breaking it down. But so that's a tough thing to do, and it takes a lot of courage. And I think he's willing to take the challenge. I can't speak from either party, for Robin or the managements, but yeah, for sure there's a risk. And you know, I kind of open up about mine, and essentially that was part of me walking away, was what it was, the return of that. You know, what the rewards were back.
Right,
so,
right. So the reward is basically you're saving your life, basically, right? That's the reward.
Really that bugged me about that part of it. It wasn't about, I didn't get, I wasn't met with like, let's help you out. It was more like, well, we can't trust you. So that was bizarre to me, and I couldn't handle it. And it really bugged me a lot. It really turned me away from the game, because, you know, at the end, like you said, save your life. It is more about the human being and the person than it is just the hockey player. That being said, you know, there's certain cases where if you're struggling with some certain things, there's different, every case is different. But in my case, it wasn't, my issues that I was going through and battling with were not affecting anybody around me. My performance was up high at a high level, and that was just an excuse or something to use against myself. So that's how I felt about it. And that's the risk. So that's the problem. That is the stigma, and that is the point of the, you know, the places like We Are All a Little Crazy, and same here, and these organizations that are trying to have an impact and be like, this is not how you do it. This is not how you treat people. You know, and these people are normal, you know, they're not garbage or no good anymore because they have these issues. There's ways. Robin came and had a Vezina candidate season going through what he went through. Is he garbage? No. If he's treated properly, then he can excel. And if he's handled and supported, then he can excel. Some people need extra support. That should be something that you should want to do as a human being. You know, you see someone struggling, it's not, okay, let's kick him down. If you see someone struggling, it should be, here's a hand. So that's kind of the message and the goal, right? And that's how I see it, and that's how I'd like to have an impact with working with Eric and the organizations like this, and also with the company I work with for the CBD stuff. So that's it's more about giving a hand out instead of seeing a wounded animal and putting it to sleep.
Well, that's what it should be about, is to help the humanity part of it. And we're all going to be rooting for Robin. And I got a feeling he's going to have a heck of a year. And then maybe he'll have a 5-year deal after this, or maybe he'll go year to year. Next year, he'll make $12 million a year. I mean, not bad, you know, and then at least it gets out there, because I think Robin's the most high profile athlete currently playing right now, you know, on the movement, you know. So, I mean, I think that's pretty huge, having him out there and talking about all this. And that could really change the whole thing, along with everybody else. So, I mean, thanks for sharing that. And, you know, we're in the first inning, I know, to use the baseball analogy, but I think once these first few innings go, you know, then the game goes quicker once we get through this, you know. So, you know, I mean, it's a long run, you know. It's a long game. But what are you doing now, currently, Rob? Like, what's Rob Schremp doing? I mean, I know you got youth leagues. I think you're going overseas soon, right? I mean, you're doing a lot of stuff. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to currently. I know the past is the past, and it's great to leave it behind. And you know, it's future. You know, so tell us what's going on now.
Yep. So I work as a liaison for a healthcare company, AG Health, and I work with the CBD line that they have created, Veda and Veda Sport, and working as a liaison as a business developer. And also I'm on the board of the Fight Like Me Foundation, and I'm advocating for mental health. And that's a big thing that I'm passionate about and helping. And after connecting with Eric and those guys, and it just really, we have our own foundation. So it's something I'm trying to, like I mentioned, be someone that reaches out and gives a helping hand. So I've been through quite a bit in my career and understand a lot of avenues you can take and a lot of avenues you shouldn't take, a lot of avenues, you know what I mean? So kind of just being an educator on that side of it for the foundation, but for the business side of it, just helping people have an alternative solution. As I was, when I kind of opened up about my issue and was met with only one option, that kind of was a little bit frustrating. So I'm kind of trying to open the doors and let people realize that there's other solutions, a healthier solution or a natural solution. And that's with the CBD stuff. So it had a huge impact on my stuff with my anxiety issues and, and a little bit of my depression stuff. It helped me really kind of come out of my dark stuff, my dark days. And I don't have as many of them. I feel a lot healthier, a lot more upbeat and positive, I think, is what I feel. So I haven't gone through that. I just share my experience and show people that there's another avenue. As I mentioned, when I asked for the CBD and natural path, it was like taboo almost. So that is no longer the case. That's kind of, I think anybody that's paying attention, you see the CBD stuff is really coming out, and it's not a fad, and it's not something that's trendy. It's something that's having real day-to-day impact on people's lives, like myself, like people around me, and people that use the products that I represent. So it's a very positive message, and I'm really proud to be a part of it because it's making a big change and it's having a big impact in a positive way. So,
what do you think of Prozac? I know kids that suffer through this stuff, and do you think there's a place for all that? What's your feeling on those things?
I think.
I know you're not a doctor, but just like your opinion on it.
Yeah, definitely not an MD, and I never tell people put down your medicine and take CBD. That's not my message. My message is that there's another option, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes you get to the point where there is certain issues where the medicine is an absolute helper. For me, when I fly, I get bad anxiety attacks. There's no control. I don't know what it is. It's like a trigger for flying. So I have to take a quarter of a Xanax to be able to fly. That what I find is something that has to happen for me to be able to fly. But for my goal was to not be on that every other day or every day or whenever I had an anxiety attack. That was not something I would want to do every day. So what I did when I got to the CBD products, I just started taking them, and within about 2 months into taking it, I never really thought about it. My wife mentioned that she's mentioned that I hadn't taken a Xanax in a long time, meaning I hadn't had an anxiety attack in a long time. And that was like, I was like, wow, you're totally right. So it was like a light bulb. I was like, wow, this is actually having an impact on me. Because before that, going into that, I was having them every other day. Literally almost every other day, I would get these triggers, start getting an anxiety attack. And so it had such a big impact, and my sleep was on track. Like I said, I mentioned with anxiety and stuff and depression stuff, your sleep's really important. Your exercise is important. When you're not sleeping, the next day you're a zombie. There's a big snowball effect. So trying to get on a better path and get more balanced out. That's how the CBD really helped me in my life. And that's why I was excited to get on the mission with the company I did. And they produced a great product, and it had a big impact on me. And I just wanted to show other people that. So that was where I say, back to the medicine comment, it's hopefully that could be everybody's case, but sometimes it's not everybody's case. Sometimes they still need to, but if there is another option, I think it's important to at least have a chance to look at it and have that be an option and not be a one. If you have this ailment, then you better take this medicine, and you have to take this one, and you're going to be on it for 20 years. That's a tough thing to swallow. Thinking about that at 31 years old, if I start taking any medicine, not to point my finger at one or the other, but if you're taking them, it has an impact on your stomach, on your kidneys, on your liver. It really does, on your day-to-day mood or your day-to-day activity. I don't know. It just seemed like kind of pinned in the corner, and I didn't like that. And having another option and being able to show people that option is something I'm passionate about, and hopefully it helps them as like it helped me.
So if you take a flight next week, you don't need to take Xanax now. You just, or is it like exceptions, like once in a while on something?
No, that's
severe?
it. When I fly, when I fly, I don't. So on a daily basis, like I mentioned, I was getting anxiety attacks every day. Now I get it. There's only like certain things with flying. I have to take a bit of a Xanax. I have on the.
So you have like a phobia of flying or something, some big giant thing of flying.
And I never was not scared of flying. It happened.
Like snakes or something. You just got
ago.
This thing with flying. I got you. Right.
Yeah. It came out of nowhere, and I've been flying since I was a kid, so it was really bizarre to me, and I never knew what it was. The first time it happened, I thought I was literally having a stroke on the plane. My arms were tingling and everything, so kind of scared me. Came to find out I was diagnosed with anxiety, so it was good to hear that. So it's good to know that I wasn't stroking.
Yeah, right.
At 31 years old.
Yeah.
I was happy, almost like I'd never been so happy to be diagnosed with anxiety. But to that point, I mean, it's not like I mentioned, I don't know. To the time, you can fly now with CBD. But to that point, I don't know if it would be strong enough if I'm up in a flight with that when those triggers come and I start getting a little bit of anxiety attacks. I don't know if I'd be able to balance it out.
Then you're captive for 8 hours in a plane. That doesn't sound right either. Right.
So,
right.
Like I mentioned, these things do have their place, but it's just it's not something for me. I didn't want it to be my everyday, and that's where I was heading. So to find this other path was pretty powerful, and I was happy that it worked.
Okay. Rob, I'm going to ask you one more thing about your typical day. Then I'll do the fun section, I call it. What is a typical day like for Rob Schremp? Like, I know there's no such thing probably, but what's just give us a day in the life of yourself. You wake up in the morning. Like, what do you do? Like, what's a day like?
Yes. Wake up and I get a workout in around 9:00 and I go for an hour. Showered up, breakfast. And
like a hockey workout or just a regular workout?
No, I'm just the spin class or
cardio stuff,
Pilates, whatever it might be. Whatever I go rollerblading a lot. I've been blading a bunch. That's fun for me. Just whatever's fun. I don't do the hockey. The hockey workouts are strenuous.
Okay.
You really are. Yeah, when you're squatting, trying to get your squat up to your max, your vertical to your max, you really push your body. So when I put the stick down, I put that down. Now it's just about general health and being fit and happy, and feeling good. So, just like spin classes, you can go hard in those classes or you can go as light as you want in those classes, but they're definitely, they're pretty cool to go into. There's great energy in there. And all
right. So spinning, what happens after the spinning and all that? Like what happens? Okay. You dump your exercise. What do you do next in the day?
You just sit down for about an hour and a bit and do some business administration work. Just get the day set up, see what I got to do, make phone calls I got to make, contacts and stuff like that, and accounts to kind of just make phone calls and keep in touch. And then around noon, 1:00, I'll go around and for me, I'm working in the golf space. So I'm going to golf courses, meeting the pros and seeing how they feel about CBD coming in. That's my mission right now. And I usually do that for about 2 or 3 hours. Then I'll play some golf and head home, have some dinner with my family, and call it a day.
Nice. Well, I've seen your golf swing. I mean, he looks pretty sweet. Is there a lot of business?
I'm working on it.
Is there a lot of business on the golf course? You always hear that. Is that true? Now that you're on the course,
I feel like golf course is one of the best places for business, connections and meeting people and not just for business, but also for experience and knowledge and mentorship. There's some people there that there's always great minds at the golf course. I feel like everybody plays golf in some sense and everybody loves playing golf, but business people especially. So even if it's not something directly related to what I'm in, my line, but you just can hear conversations and learn from people how they manage things or how they, when they start talking their business talk with each other, you just kind of stay quiet and listen and it's an experience. And not being a college graduate, I think this is where I learned my trait and where I can pick up things that can help me in my business. So it's not always like you're picking up accounts every day at the course, but you're definitely picking up bits and pieces of knowledge that go towards making you a better person and making you a better businessman.
What a great thing. Not only are you enjoying golfing, but then you meet all the connections and you're learning stuff in business. It's probably like so unique that way, more than anything I could think of,
Yeah, and then you get to take their money at the end of the round. Thank you.
Because
so you're not even paying for it. You're getting paid to listen.
Because what, you bet on the rounds like?
That we always play like fun little games, like 6-hole matches.
Oh, okay.
We call them that $10 Nassau's, or we play a cool little putting game where for whatever, every one putt you get a card. If you get putt from off the green or chip in from off the green, you get 2 cards at the end of the round. There's 4 piles of cards. Whoever you add the cards up and you add the piles up, and then you just pick a random pile of cards, and then whoever has the best poker hand wins the pot. If you 3-putt. So everybody starts by putting $5 in the pot, and if you 3-putt, you got to put $5 more in the pot. Every time you 3-putt, $5 more in the pot.
Okay.
Whoever 3-putts. So that pot could be, depending on who you're playing with and how good of putters you are, sometimes the pots can be big. But if you're playing with good golfers, low handicappers, sometimes the pot just stays at the typical $20.
What's the highest it ever went to?
$80 actually. When we all sucked one day.
Hey.
We had everybody had at least $20 in the pot.
Hey, I mean, I guess it's even better if you're a good golfer like you are, then you get all that stuff. So it sounds like a win-win deal, I got to get better at it myself. I'm not too good at it, so I'm a little self-conscious. Like, well, is it not effective if you're not a good golfer and people say, hey, this guy stinks, I mean, I guess it's better if you're good, right?
That's the thing. You don't really get into those foursomes if you're shooting 110.
Okay, so you got to be quality. Okay.
You got to make up for it somehow. You got something to offer them.
I got
You're not getting into that round.
Right.
I don't think the other 3 guys want to go looking for your ball the whole day. That's kind of a nuisance. So if you got to kind of have a bit of a game together.
Right. With everything, I know. So I play softball. I'm a pretty good player. So the better you are, it's just people seem to they just surround you more. It's just, I don't know, one of those facts of life, I guess. But there is a place for everybody on the golf course, though. I mean, that's a cool thing. Ready for the fun part? Let me hear, Rob. You play the guitar, and I want to hear. I meant to ask you on my last hit and miss. My fun. We already did the word association on that one. But what's your top 5 rock albums? Top 5 rock and roll or pop albums? Yeah. What's your not? It doesn't have to be in order, but just what's your top 5?
I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. I have to really think about that.
Or give me your top 5 groups if that's easier.
Groups would be, I think I mentioned it already, Ben Howard. I'm really laid back music guy. Ben Howard. I have to go Scorpion. Dave Matthews Band. I go with Matt Kearney. And then I would go with who I listen to the most. I've had the same iPad for like 15 years. I don't change my music much. Counting Crows, I do enjoy Counting Crows. these are not what you would probably predict. But
no, this is interesting. I have to check some of these names out.
And just easy peasy, easy going music. So, what can I give my last pick to? I like Coldplay.
Oh, okay. I heard of them. Okay. Cool. We left off last time on my hit and miss on game 9 of the baseball season, where we were joking that everybody gets so excited. Now we're at game 154. What's your? I don't remember if you were a Yankee fan, but I think you said your dad was a big fan and get these great arguments at like game 9. We were kind of joking.
That's right.
You follow baseball?
I don't follow the season. I do not. But definitely
okay.
when it comes around postseason time, I dial in.
Okay. Well, then I'll ask you anyway. Who's going to win the World Series this year?
I honestly, I like the Yankees. They're really rolling right now, and they're coming into the postseason really strong, and I think they pull it off this year.
Nice. Okay. I feel the same way. Rob, anything to add? Websites to look at, or any? I know you're on Twitter. Anything you want to mention?
Well, we just our company website, vedasport.pro, VEDA. Sport.pro is where we're at. We're in the sports CBD world isolate. So the thing about our sports line, it's geared towards the athletes. And we made it so it's WADA compliant. So these athletes can take the products and feel comfortable with testing, as WADA is the World Anti-Doping Administration. And those are Olympic level testing. So the products are built for them. And that's a passion I'm in, like I said, trying to give the athletes a different avenue.
And that seems key, correct? The quality of this stuff. I mean, you really don't know what's in some of these other things, right?
That's huge. So we formulate out of a manufacturing facility that was formerly occupied by Johnson & Johnson. So it's got the, the pharmaceutical grade standards, and that's what's important. So it's not something that's being chopped up in a garage or kind of all over the place. It's really made in one stop. We're a seed to sale company. So, we get it from the farms and it comes to our facility, and it's buttoned up really nice where the products are pure and clean and tested. So, that's what makes it important. That's really trying to let the athletes know if you're going to, I played with some guys a couple of years. They were ordering, I think they were ordering sleeping pills off the internet they were getting it from China. And the one guy was literally, and there's no joke, my teammate was backing up goaltending at the time, and he goes, "You got to pay attention to this guy. He takes a nap in between shifts." I'm like, "Get out of here." So the next game I started watching, and then I asked him about it, and that's what it was. It was some sleepers from off the internet from some random place that they were just going.
Whoa.
Hey, Wicker. So, that's an isolated story, and it's kind of a funny story. I don't want to use names. I don't want to throw anybody in the bus, but
so this guy would actually sleep when he would go back on the bench. He'd go to sleep.
His head would be bobbing. Like, you look down, and his head would be not dozing off. It's like, what the fuck? Like, no way. It was funny, but not funny. But it was like, oh my God, I've seen it all. But to that point, just if guys are looking, to go in the space, maybe it's not for everybody, but for people that are looking for that, it's good for inflammation, it's good for sleep, it's good for appetite, it's good, it helps your body get balanced out. So if you're going to be going off on the internet and buying this kind of stuff, I think this is something. You look at our company, we really have it made, kind of tailor made for anybody that's looking for a pure product, especially if you're athletes. With the isolated line that we have, Veda Sport is geared towards the athlete.
So that's Veda with an E, right? VEDA sport.pro. Is that the website?
Yep.
Okay. And how about yourself? You have any websites that anyone go on, or the Eric Houston website? Anything else?
Yeah, Eric's a little crazy in this. I call it the Same Here movement. So I really,
Same Here.
Anytime I talk to mental health advocacy, I really push towards Eric because I love what he's doing, and I believe in what he's doing, and I really feel like Eric's moral compass is in the right place, and he's really trying to help make a change and have an impact in a positive way. So it's more geared towards everybody and not something that is ego driven or for him. This is for, he's trying to do this to help everybody. He went through tough times and bad experience with depression, and he wants to help people have remedies. So I really have, I was proud to be on that and also advocate for them and be part of it. So,
nice.
I think they got great stuff, and I think they're going in the right direction, and they have, the more and more people are kind of coming on their site and telling their stories. I think it breaks more and more doors down and lets people know, they got some support.
Well, Rob, thanks for everything you're doing on behalf of everybody, the kids, and all the stuff you're doing. You're a great man and inspiration. Thanks for coming out today. Appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate having me on.
All right, we'll catch you later. This is Ray K. That was Rob Schremp. Catch you next time.